1980s are widely regarded as one of the best eras in NBA history. There were plenty of superstars, star power, NBA started to become more popular, and there was a bunch of rivalries going on which made the game somewhat more interesting and watchable. But as good as the 80s were, there was a fair share of the draft busts in the 80s as well. Hello everyone, I'm Purple Prince, and I'm back with the third video of the series, Biggest NBA Draft Busts by the Decades. This time, we take a look at the top 10 draft busts of the 1980s. Let's start. Number 1. James Ray, the 5th pick of the 1980 NBA Draft. James Ray didn't have an extraordinary college career. In fact, it wasn't even that great. During 4 years in Jacksonville, James Ray averaged only 14.5 points and 7.2 rebounds. And some better players were still on the board, such as Mike Gminski, who averaged 19 and 10 in 4 years of Duke. Instead, the Denver Nuggets decided to draft a 6'8", 215-pound power forward, James Ray. In his first season, James Ray played in only 18 games, 8.2 minutes per game, averaging 2.1 points and 2.1 rebounds. In his second year, Ray played in 40 games, averaging 6.6 minutes, 3.1 points, and 1.6 rebounds. And in his third season, he broke out, setting up career highs in all the categories. And those career highs were 45 games played, 9.6 minutes per game, 3.8 points, and 2.8 rebounds. The truth is, he was never that good. He was a bust. To be honest, the 1980 NBA draft wasn't that good in general, but there definitely were some better players available when Denver reached by using their 5th pick on James Ray. His career stats: 103 games played, 8.2 minutes per game, 3.2 points, 2.2 rebounds per game, and a minus 0.3 win shares. Not too good for the former 5th pick of the draft. Number 2. Danny Raines, the 5th pick of the 1981 NBA draft. Danny Raines was a product of Utah. He was a legend in Utah. In 4 years of college there, Raines averaged 15.5 points and 8.6 rebounds. The 6'7", 210-pound forward was nothing to sneeze at. Or, at least that's what the Seattle Supersonics thought when they drafted him with the 5th pick of the 1981 NBA draft. And it's not like Raines was super bad. Okay, he was bad. But what makes it worse is the players who were drafted after him. Like 10 of the next 11 players drafted after him had longer and better NBA careers. Tom Chambers, Rolando Blackman, Herb Williams, Larry Nance, just to name a few. In his rookie year, Raines was relegated to a bench role and was able to produce 4.9 points and 2.6 rebounds in 14 minutes per game. For his next 3 seasons, he would be named the starting small forward for the Seattle Supersonics and responded with averages of around 7 points and 5 rebounds in 27 minutes per game. He was a poor free throw shooter, he didn't shoot threes, and basically didn't do anything well enough. In his last year in Seattle, Danny Raines was once again more of a bench player, before going to Philadelphia, where he would end his career after 2 seasons of being a deep bench player, averaging 14 minutes, a little more than 2 points, and 1.5 rebounds. In total, Danny Raines' career spans 7 years, and his stats are 510 games played, 20.8 minutes per game, 5.1 points, and 3.9 rebounds per game, and 15.3 win shares. Not super bad, but very poor for the 5th pick. Number 3. Bill Garnett, number 4 pick of the 1982 NBA draft. Bill Garnett was a 6'9", 225-pound power forward from Kansas City. In 4 years of college at University of Wyoming, Bill Garnett averaged 13.9 points and 7.3 rebounds, but it was his last year in Wyoming where he would really show his skill for scoring and grabbing rebounds. His potential was enough to be the 4th pick. The Dallas Mavericks drafted him right after Dominique Wilkins, who was taken 3rd. Right away, Garnett was thrown in a tough situation. Dallas already had 5 forwards on the roster, including 2 great scorers in Mark Aguirre and Jay Vincent. Bill Garnett had to play the center position behind Pat Cummings, and he wasn't necessarily bad. Bill Garnett played 75 games in his rookie season, averaging 6.3 points and 5.4 rebounds in 18.8 minutes of action. Next year, Dallas had 6 forwards in rotations. Bill Garnett played his natural power forward position but struggled and averaged only 5.1 points and 4.1 rebounds. After just 2 years, Dallas gave up on him. And Garnett went to Indiana, where he would be one of 6 forwards on the team again. In limited action, Garnett provided limited numbers, and just after 2 years in Indiana, Garnett's NBA career was over. His NBA career totals: 300 games played, 17.5 minutes per game, 5.5 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 10.8 win shares. He said, "My NBA career was shortened than I thought it would be. I don't know what happened. I think it became a matter of numbers. I was on a team that was full of forwards. Maybe so, but when needed the most, his talent didn't come through. The 4th pick of the draft spent just 4 years in the league, and now can be considered a draft bust." Number 4. Russell Cross, the number 6 pick of the 1983 NBA Draft. The 1983 NBA Draft was one of those drafts that is full of disappointments. There were some solid plays for sure, but number 1 pick Ralph Sampson, although good, played just 9 years in the league. And there's only one player that scored 20,000 plus points for his career, and that's the 14th pick in Clyde Drexler. But quite possibly the biggest disappointment was Russell Cross, who was drafted with the 6th pick by Golden State Warriors. In 3 years of college, Cross averaged 16.4 points and 6.7 rebounds. At 6'10" and 215 pounds, Russell Cross was a mobile center, but the knee injury he suffered in high school ultimately showed itself in the NBA. Russell Cross played just 1 year in the NBA, 45 games played, 7.9 minutes, 3.7 points, 1.8 rebounds, 0.8 win shares. After 1 season with the Warriors, Cross signed with the Denver Nuggets, but didn't appear in a game and was waived. He played 7 seasons in Europe afterwards, but his NBA career ultimately was a bust. Number 5. Sam Bowie, number 2 pick of the 1984 NBA Draft. Sam Bowie will always be known as the guy who was drafted ahead of Michael Jordan. Always. And actually, that might have happened because he lied to Portland Trail Blazers. In an interview to Yahoo Sports, Bowie said, "I can still remember them talking a little mallet, and when they would hit me on my left tibia, and I don't feel anything, I would tell them. But deep down inside, it was hurting. If what I did was lying and what I did was wrong, at the end of the day, when you have loved ones that have some needs, I did what any of us would have done." We all know about all the leg injuries he sustained, and how injury-prone he was in general. But what makes this all worse, he was drafted between quite possibly the greatest center in NBA history, and obviously the greatest player in NBA history in Michael Jordan. He was also drafted before Charles Barkley, Otis Thorpe, Kevin Willis, John Stockton. That's quite unlucky if you're the Portland Trail Blazers. But let's talk about the player. Sam Bowie's college career was a bit overrated. He had a great size at 7'1" and 235 pounds, but managed to average just 13.4 points and 8.8 rebounds. He wasn't a dominant scorer or a dominant rebounder, but he was tall. After just 2 years in college, Sam Bowie was diagnosed with a stretch fracture in his left tibia. He ended up missing 2 years of basketball before applying for an NCAA medical redshirt to allow him to play another year in college. The truth is, he never should have been part of the 1984 NBA Draft amongst all these superstars. If he was drafted in the 1983 NBA Draft, things most likely would be different. There were no super big legends in that draft. But it is what it is. Portland already had Clyde Drexler, and people, he was really good. He wasn't Michael Jordan, but he was really good. Portland needed a center. Sam Bowie was a big one, and he got drafted with the 2nd pick of the 1984 NBA Draft. In his rookie year, which by the way was pretty much the healthiest he would ever be, Sam Bowie averaged 10 points, 8.6 rebounds, 2.8 assists, and 2.7 blocks. That's not bad for a rookie. The trouble started in 2nd season. A teammate fell on his leg, re-aggravating his previous injury. Sam Bowie ended up playing just 38 games next season. He played just 5. Then, He missed an entire season just to return to the Trailblazers as a backup center for 20 games in 1988-89 season. Portland traded Bowie to the New Jersey Nets, where he would spend 4 of his most productive seasons as he didn't suffer any major injuries. In the 1988-90 season, Bowie even averaged a double-double of 14.7 points and 10.1 rebounds. After 4 years in New Jersey, Bowie was traded to the Lakers, where he would play 92 games in 2 seasons, serving as a backup. After just 10 years in the league, Sam Bowie decided to retire. His career numbers: 511 games played, 27.6 minutes, 10.9 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 26.9 win shares. Definitely not the worst of the worst, and knowing his struggles with injuries, it's hard to call him a total bust. But it is what it is. He was drafted number 2. He was drafted before Michael Jordan because they thought he was better. Injuries or not, he wasn't. He was a bust. Number 6. Lanchester Gordon, number 8 pick of the 1984 NBA Draft. The Los Angeles Clippers thought they took their shooting guard of the future by drafting Lanchester Gordon with the 8th pick of the 1984 NBA Draft. Things didn't turn out so well. Lanchester Gordon was a 6'3", 185-pound shooting guard from Louisville, who in college averaged 12 points on 50.4% shooting. On the Clippers, he had a 20-plus point scoring shooting guard ahead of him in Derek Smith. And even though Gordon played against reserves, he just couldn't shoot. In his rookie season, Gordon averaged 4.1 points on 38.3% shooting. Next year, 5.2 points on 37.7% shooting. Then came his breakout year with the best shooting percentage, 7.5 points on 40.6% shooting. Big wow. Clippers were done with him. He played only 8 games in his 4th year with the Clippers, having his most miserable year yet, averaging 3.5 points on 35.5% shooting. The Clippers were bad, they needed a shooter, and Lanchester Gordon definitely wasn't that. In fact, he only had a stint with the Clippers as none of the team saw anything in him. For his career, Lanchester Gordon played in 201 games, having averages of 12.8 minutes, 5.6 points, 1.5 assists, and minus 2.7 win shares. A bust. Number 7. Chris Washburn, number 3 pick of the 1986 NBA Draft. The 1986 NBA Draft is mostly remembered because of Len Bias' tragedy, which is unfortunate. There was only one player in the draft who cracked the 15,000 point mark for his career, and that was Jeff Hornacek. The first pick of the draft wasn't that good, and the number 3 pick was awful. Chris Washburn was one of those ill-fated picks of the 1986 draft class who lost their career because of drugs. The 6'11" center in 2 years of North Carolina averaged 16.4 points and 6.6 rebounds. Washburn was taken with the 3rd pick of the 1986 NBA Draft, and there really were no highlights in his career. He was in the NBA only for 2 seasons, amassing a total of 72 games played, 9 minutes, 3.1 points, 2.4 rebounds, and minus 0.6 win shares. A questionable work ethic, drug abuse, and a bunch of problems. In June of 1989, Washburn received a lifetime NBA ban after failing 3 drug tests in 3 years. His career is just one big giant bust. Fortunately, he has been drug-free since 2000, but the same happy ending can't be applied to his NBA career. Number 8. Dennis Hobson, the number 3 pick of the 1987 NBA Draft. The 6'5", 200-pound shooting guard played 4 years for Ohio State, averaging 16.8 points and 5.7 rebounds. His college career was enough to be drafted with 3rd pick by the New Jersey Nets. With New Jersey, Dennis Hobson became a good scoring option, but despite averaging a career-high 15.8 points per game for the Nets in the 1989-90 season, the organization felt he didn't meet their expectations and decided to not continue to work with him. After 3 seasons with the Nets, Hobson went to Chicago, where he would come off the bench, cause they already had that slightly better starting shooting guard in Michael Jordan. But even though he played very little, Dennis Hobson was a part of the Bulls squad that won the 1991 NBA championship. After only 2 games in the 1991-92 season, Hobson was traded to the Sacramento Kings, where he would get more playing time but still be coming off the bench. In 69 games with the Sacramento Kings, Hobson averaged 10.7 points and 3 rebounds. After the season, Hobson's agent wanted a multi-year contract, but the Kings offered a 1-year contract. Hobson ended up leaving the NBA and going to play internationally. He never got another chance in the NBA. As the 3rd pick of the draft, Hobson played in 334 NBA games, averaging 22.5 minutes, 10.9 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 7.1 win shares. Not the numbers you would like to see from the 3rd pick of the draft. Number 9. Pervis Ellison, the 1st pick of the 1989 NBA draft. Pervis Ellison had a very good college career. In University of Louisville, Pervis was the starting center for all 4 years of college and averaged 15.8 points and 8.4 rebounds. The 6'9", 210-pound center caught an eye of the Sacramento Kings, who chose to draft him number 1. But his slight frame couldn't manage NBA. He was booed by Sacramento fans when he was drafted, when he played, and even when he didn't play. The lack of motivation and injuries shortened his rookie season to only 34 games, and averages of 8 points and 5.8 rebounds. Sacramento Kings gave up on him after just 1 season, as he was traded to the Washington Bullets for pretty much nothing. Kings coach Jerry Reynolds said, "We found out, as did other teams that had Pervis, that he didn't love the game. Good guy, easy to be around, but he didn't have that competitive spirit, that drive, and that's why he had the career he had. We were not lucky in a bad draft." Pervis did play better in Washington, and even received the NBA Most Improved Player award in 1992 after averaging 20 points and 11.2 rebounds for the season. That was his peak. Even though Ellison was only 24, his play and production diminished each season. By the end of his 4-year tenure in Washington, Pervis Ellison lost his job as a starting center for the team. Ellison signed with Boston Celtics as a free agent in 1994, but the injuries kept him out of the games for quite a while. In Boston, he was nothing more than a bench option at just 27 years of age. After missing the whole 1998-99 season with injury, former number 1 pick played just 30 games with the Celtics next year. Pervis Ellison had a short 9-game stint with the Seattle Supersonics for the 2000-2001 season, before calling it quits for good at age 33. Pervis Ellison holds career stats of 474 games played, 24.5 minutes, 9.5 points, 6.7 rebounds, and 21.8 win shares. A disappointment as the number 1 pick, to tell the least. And number 10, Danny Ferry, number 2 pick of the 1989 NBA draft. You probably remember Danny Ferry more because of his controversial exit as Atlanta Hawks general manager. But he once was a player. In 4 years at Duke, Ferry averaged 15.1 points and 7 rebounds, which I guess was enough to be drafted so high. Drafted number 2 in the 1989 NBA draft, Danny Ferry had some expectations attached to his name. But Ferry didn't want to play for the Clippers, so he decided to play overseas, where he would make a name for himself, averaging 23 points and 6 rebounds in Italy. In the summer of 1990, Ferry got offered a 10-year guaranteed contract of $35 million by the Cleveland Cavaliers. For the first 5 years in Cleveland, Ferry was a bench player, with his best season being his first season in Cleveland, where he averaged 8.6 points and 3.5 rebounds. After 5 years as bench option, Ferry became Cleveland's starting power forward and had 2 okay seasons, where he averaged double-digit points and close to 4 rebounds. Soon enough, Cleveland realized that Ferry is not a starting material in the NBA and relegated him back to a bench role for the last 3 years of his 10-year deal. After 10 years in Cleveland, Ferry signed a 3-year deal with the San Antonio Spurs to be an off-the-bench shooter. Luckily for him, the Spurs won the 2002-2003 NBA championship, after which Danny Ferry decided to retire. Danny Ferry finished his NBA career with 917 games played and averages of 19.8 minutes, 7 points, and 2.8 rebounds. A production you would like to see from your late-round pick, not the 2nd pick of the NBA draft. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Do you have some names you would like to add to this list? Which one of the names I mentioned was the biggest bust of the 1980s? Do you agree with my list? Whatever your thought is, please leave a comment below. Share this video with others, drop a like if you enjoyed the history of the game, and don't forget to press that subscribe button to not miss any upcoming content in the future. I will still be covering the draft bust of the 90s and disappointing players from the first 2 decades of the 21st century. And besides this series, there is much more interesting content coming your way. Thanks. This was Purple Prince, and I'm out.